Simon Grix, 30 points to 10 victory to make it 5 wins on the spin, but you must be frustrated at the end of the game after the start of the first half.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe scoring in first set of games, not always helpful. Thought first game of 2 halves. First half we come up with some really good stuff, attractive stuff, scored some nice tries. Half time came around and, to be honest, I think they were almost ready to put the cue in the rack. And we just had to come out and put in, a decent start to the second half and make the game easy for ourselves. But I thought we'd give them that opportunity by starting the second half poorly. And they grew a little bit and they put in a really good effort. And they're in a tough spot, Newcastle. And as much as results aren't going their way, I think they're still trying really hard, which is a good sign. They're getting, changing 3. I think there was 3 or 4 changes this week, 5 and 6 the week before, and all that. They've got a lot going on in the background there, injuries and stuff. So there's a bit for them to take. But for us, I think it's 2 points on a long road trip. We'll take them. But yeah, I think there's just some stuff there which we're not where they need to be if we want to kick on and go well this year.
Is it hard to kind of think of the positives of the first half after such a
yeah, I can hardly remember them, to be honest. Just the second half were quite dire. Some good stuff in there. Thought Tibbs did some good stuff. Come up with a great offload for the try at the very beginning of the game. Louis come up with some good plays, as a Keezer. A lot of them did decent stuff throughout, but they sort of said to me there, just one word: intent. When we carried with the intent to go into them and through them, we either did do that or we got a penalty and we got some field position, or a little bit easier. I thought we were too steppy and a bit pretty at times the second half. We were really willing to do the hard stuff to break Newcastle. Credit to them for putting up a fight second half.
Saw a couple of changes ourselves. Will Calcott came in for Jacob Fairbank and Ben Tibbs came in. What was the thinking behind that change coming in?
Well, Bob is an obvious one. With his ban, there's an opportunity for a middle to get a game, and the decision between Elliot, Morris and Callie. I think Callie's just been given us a little bit more in training, and on the last performance Callie was pretty decent as well. Tibbs, well, with the greatest respect to Joe Rundle, he's an old body. This pitch doesn't really do you a great deal of favours. He's been carrying a couple of niggles as well, and Tibbs has been going really well for the reserves games and training really well as well, so opportunity for him to get in. Also a little bit of Newcastle, they haven't been winning. If it won't getting Tibbs in now, when do you get him in? I thought he'd earned the right for a chance, so he chucked him in, and I do think he did some good stuff, but probably showed a little bit of naivety at times as well in defence. But on the whole, happy with the 2. But as always, there's plenty to work on.
You mentioned a few names before. One of them was Brandon Moore. Real captain's not performance. How good is it to have a performance like that from the captain?
Yeah, he did some good stuff. With the ball, defensively, showed some energy. I think he had the intent, the word in everything he did. I thought also, particularly second half when he came on, him, Adam Tangata and Dan Murray, I think they swung it back for us a little bit. They came on the field, showed a bit of intent in both attack and defence, and sort of stemmed the tide, if you like, because I thought they were getting from their end to our end really quickly and really easily, and they come and had a little bit of sting about them. But Pudge gives you that every week, right? To be honest, I think probably goes under the radar. I remember I played with Ben Westwood for years at Warrington, and Benny didn't always get man at match. He'd come off and tell you he was man at match, but I think sometimes the consistent level of performance just gets overlooked by maybe a flashy play for somewhere else or whatever. But Brandon's always up there in his effort areas, and that's why we value him so highly.
I bet you're sick of talking about this, but we've got another free weekend before Sheffield. After that second half performance, would you want the next game against Sheffield to be next weekend, or are you glad to have?
Yeah, 100%. Playing next week wouldn't change anything in terms of bodies. We've got what we've got at the moment. We've got obviously a few longer term blokes and Bobby out, and having a week off. 10 games. Is that 10 games? It's 10 games plus a cup game. So 11 games in, third of the way through pretty much. We've had a few weekends off, haven't we? I don't think we don't really need them. We're not in bad shape, so sometimes it's a very long week when you've not done a great performance. 2 weeks, it's going to be quite painful, to be honest. But yeah, the lads they've arranged to stay out tonight together and spend some time together, which is great. Don't often get that opportunity, so off they'll go and enjoy it. And us staff will be on the way back on the bus, probably ruin the day, on some of the day, to be fair. But Yeah, we'll move on. We're getting Tuesday. Tidy up some areas, have a good look at what we did wrong and why we didn't get the right field position and so on in that second half. And to start turning our attention by Thursday around to Sheffield, who've been going really well as well. Lost to Lee, did they, last night? Lost to Lee last night. But generally, the last few games I've watched them, they've gone pretty well, so we're in for another test. One that a team that probably won't have quite as many changes that makes it difficult for them. They'll come in good form, they'll be expecting to put on a good show against us, so we can't disappoint, but we really do need to tidy up some areas.
You mentioned previously that the table will look after itself. Sheffield are roundabouts in the table. Does that make it a real 4-pointer game, a really important game to attack, especially at home?
Well, it's a home game, we want to win every game. Being at home, I think you can only afford to lose so many at home before it starts looking a bit messy, and I think we might have lost our quarter at home already. Yeah, I think we're sitting all right considering the start, and I said it all along in context. Yes, it wasn't a great start as the table looks, but you know, Widnes started with 4 wins on trot and they were going up, and now drama there. So yeah, there's a long way to go yet. We're sitting in a decent spot considering the things that have happened before it, but it only gets harder from here on in. The championships over the last couple of years has just been really tight, hasn't it? Yes, you might have had Toulouse, who are gone now, and Lee have been tearing away, and Fev and Lee have took that mantle this year. But you know, there's a group of teams in behind that are not too far from each other in performance and obviously on points. So we just need to keep plugging away, taking it a game at a time.